Well, the numbers are where things get a little tricky and maybe a little confusing. So to help us figure out the dollars and cents today, we have Dwayne Donaldson with us. Dwayne, you're an assistant finance professor at Columbus State Community College. So thank you, because this is really over a lot of people's heads, a lot of numbers that we're dealing with.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so let's figure this out. If Lincus passes, what does that estimated $8 billion over 25 years really look like for my wallet?
From your wallet, it's going to mean a small increase, I'll say relatively small compared to income, about $101 per person per year for 25 years. So it is a significant increase, but we also have significant increase in population that's causing some form of a change that will occur in the future.
And that's how you came up with these projected budget incomes that we just saw, that, you know, over that 25 years, with how many more people COTA will receive. What did you say, 300 some odd million dollars?
320 million per year average over that 25-year period of time. That would be the equivalent of 1.5 to 2 tanks of gas for a whole year. That would be on a per person budget. It could mean a 20% of 1 month's new car payment, or 30% of a used car payment for the whole year. So it is an amount that is significant to some families, but when stretched out over a whole year, is it worth the benefit that we're receiving?
And that's what people are deciding at the polls right now.
That's correct.
Yeah. And when we talk about, and we should actually note, this is, again, a sales tax, right? So
Correct.
It doesn't apply to things like food or prescriptions, but when you do go to the grocery store, we buy everything.
Correct.
The toilet paper, the cleaning supplies, and all that. That's why you will see that extra sales tax on your receipt.
That's right. That's right. And people visiting the city, they will see a small increase in the items that they buy. So anything that you pay sales tax for now, it would increase to pay for the increased service, because we have a population increase going from 2.1 million to 3.1 million over the next 25 years. So that's why they're asking for this investment, to bring them on scale with other cities that have had similar growth.
So let's pause for a moment and take a look at where we are in Franklin County as compared to the state, because right now the sales tax is 7.5%. I know this map is a little bit small, but you can see from the color code that the highest sales tax right now in the state, it is Cuyahoga County at 8%. So by raising Franklin County's sales tax 0.5%, that puts us in line with Cuyahoga County. How do you think that will impact, and now I'm going to your economics professor mode,
Sure.
How will that impact, do you feel, services, not only people who are coming to visit, but maybe people who sell big ticket items like a car?
Right. It's going to increase the cost of those supply items. Over 25% of the sales tax in Ohio is received from vehicle sales tax. So it will impact those decisions. Will that impact the volume of change? Probably not. The statistics don't support that. But also, to keep it in perspective, 5.5% of the sales tax goes to the state of Ohio, that they use all around the state. So that is not just a Franklin County, that's every county. Then 0.5% currently goes to COTA, which is the main part of the Lincus program. The increase would bring us on par with Cincinnati, who's at 0.8 for COTA, up to Cleveland, who has the maximum allowed by the Ohio Revised Code of 1%. So this would bring us up to the maximum that COTA would ever be able to receive, but it would bring them on par with what they need to do for the 3 million people that will be here.
Right. And you also said it also brings us on par with some of the other major cities across the country?
That's right. Denver, St. Louis, Cleveland, Cincinnati obviously are in our state, but it brings us on par with the growth that those cities have seen in the last 15 to 20 years, but also in perspective to their other sales tax.
All right, what happens if Lincus doesn't pass? From an economic standpoint, how else can we move, like you said, 1 million more people if there isn't, we can't build new roads.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what do we do?
Well, the sales tax will continue to be collected at a higher revenue dollar, because we assume people will still be roughly of the same economic background that they are today. So if 1 million more people come in, sales taxes will increase around 33%, which is fine, but you will not get high-speed rail. You won't have the extra walking trails, the safety aspects like the lighting, the elevated platforms for people with disabilities, or just some form of an infirmity. You won't have the improvements. You will have status quo. These roads will probably be a little more clogged because you have 1 million more people, and there's no new access to bring on a lot of new infrastructure. So this is all infrastructure building to try to get more people onto mass transit that could take advantage of mass transit, and allow those folks then to not be on the highway, so we don't have to then invest in highway systems.
Right.
And that's what larger cities do, is try to get people into mass transit.
It's kind of this cycle that goes around, and Lincus is trying to get ahead of this cycle.
That's
so to
right,
speak.
right. Stay ahead of it before it becomes even more costly.
All right, Dwayne Donaldson, thank you so much for breaking down the dollars and cents and really, letting people at home know, how does this impact me on a day-to-day basis?
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.